Welcome to Slayerfest 98. I'm your co-host, Kirsten White.
And I'm Ian Carlos Crawford, and joining us today, she is the original voice of Jubilee in X-Men the Animated Series, Lydia Dietz in Beetlejuice, and a zillion other things.
Hi, I'm Allison Court.
Allison, hi. I love that we were just talking about Buffy 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I gotta have you on, and here we are.
Here we are.
Thank you. You are very flexible last minute, and I really appreciate that.
Our timing has worked out really well.
It really
you
has.
and I, for whatever reason, it syncs up really nicely. So again, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, yeah. So we're here today because of the 25th anniversary of Buffy Season 3's The Prom. And even speaking on that, even the very beginning, the thing that I like is, like you said, Kirsten, we are being presented with teenagers. We're reminded. Yeah. And even Buffy and Angel, waking up, snuggling after slaying, she's very much being a teen girl, and we're not making fun of it. We're just showing the big difference between the two of them is how I read it.
Yeah.
And I did really like that. And it's, just the previous episode, the mayor read them both for filth, where he was like, you'll never be happy. I had a wife and it was miserable watching her grow old as I was immortal and did not. And, he's the villain, but the thing Buffy always does really well is have the villains tell truths in stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because the mayor is doing it to throw them off, but also he's not lying, right? That's true. Yeah. That would be miserable. And I'm always really charmed by when we're reminded Buffy's a teen, right? She has to be so in charge all the time. She has to be constantly fighting, and it's cute to see her just be like, oh, my hair, and and she's just kind of, excited about the day, but being cutesy with the person she loves.
And also, it really sets up, this first scene really sets up that she is planning on a future together, right? Mm-hmm. She's asking for a drawer. She's suggesting she leave supplies there. And it just really throws into relief. Again, she's a teenager, but she takes this relationship really, really seriously. And Angel the actor plays it so well, where you could see this dawning realization on his face of oh.
Yes. I was going to ask if y'all noticed that, because I don't think I've noticed that much before. Yeah. I just thought of it as he's kind of being grumpy, but I read it this time as he's oh shit, I maybe am too old for her.
Yeah. The consequences. Yeah.
So we get the post credits. We are kind of reintroduced to Anya, and this feels like we were kind of getting there with her. She was still a demon. She was a demon in the first episode. The second episode, she was kind of still bad, but funny. And this feels like the fully formed Anya we will get moving forward, whose character develops, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And she's also an interesting contrast to Angel, right? Because we saw Angel being I don't want to go to a prom. It's very, he didn't say it, but it was very clear. He was like, you want me to go to prom? Right. Whereas Anya, she says, I took the form of a teenage girl and I want these experiences. I can't help it. It's just inside of me. I want to have these things. And I think that's kind of the distinction between them, right? Angel's lived experience is as a vampire all of these decades. Whereas Anya, even though she was a demon for so long, I guess they kind of get around it by saying because she inhabited the form of a teenage girl, part of that sticks, right? And it's it's an interesting contrast where her desire to figure out how to be human again, I think separates her from that dynamic of, oh, man, this really is inappropriate.
Yeah. If anything, it emphasizes the creepy of Angel, right? Yeah. Where it's oh yeah, no, he actually really is hundreds and hundreds of years
old man. Yeah. He's hot,
right?
And they bonded over their jobs, so I get it, but also Anya just has so many great lines, "Men are evil. Want to go to prom with me?"
Yeah. That's me asking.
The same in high school.
It's me asking anyone out. I'm like, well, men suck, but do you want to go out with me?
Yeah.
And then we cut to Angel getting a knock on his door, and who is there, Kirsten?
Oh, Joyce, who, by the way, is just looking absolutely luminously beautiful in this scene.
She is.
She looks so good. Yeah. So, but we should note this is right after Angel finds one of Buffy's abandoned notebooks that has their names doodled on it, which is such a sad detail.
But I feel for him in that moment because it's actually just like, oh God, she's such a child. Right?
No, I am dating a child. And like, honestly, I see how it happens, right? Because she is so capable and she's so strong. And in terms of like abilities and all of those things, they are equals. She's actually his better. And
right, yeah.
But then he's having to really face the reality that she's a teenage girl. And so Joyce comes and she's being a mom. She's not shaming Buffy or her choices, which I really, really appreciate. Like, she is acknowledging that Buffy can make her own decisions and Buffy is strong and capable, but also she's a teenager. And like you said, Allison, I think this whole speech could very much have been like, stop messing with Buffy's business, Joyce, because, she has really messed up very badly in the past. But in this case, the things that she says to Angel, I think really resonate and are fair.
Yeah. 100%.
I was going to ask because same thing with you, Allison. Like when I was younger, it was like, oh, mom's meddling. Like she needs to mind her business. Mm-hmm. But then as an adult, I'm like, Angel is more her equal in age and he's still a lot older than her than he is her daughters. And what you said, Kirsten, that's important for me, that she isn't shaming the choices. She's just like putting it out there. Like,
and like, this is such a good example of having an impossible relationship, right? And it's impossible because of circumstances that neither of them chose and neither of them can change, which is such a neat storytelling trick to pull off, right? Because they love each other. Like, he genuinely loves her. She genuinely loves him. If they could be together, they would. But as Joyce points out, like, this is untenable, right? This will destroy her. And because of destroying her, it will also destroy you because you don't want that to happen because you love her. And I love when she says, you're all she can see of tomorrow, really forcing Angel to recognize that Buffy does have like a dynamic future ahead of her. And he's standing in the way of her being open to anything else.
Yeah.
And it's sad, right? And Joyce, I think, acknowledges that it's sad. I think she really acknowledges that Angel loves Buffy and she knows that and she sees that, but it's not right.
Well, she says she's saying you're the grown-up in this relationship. Yep. You need to act that way because as a reminder, Buffy is not a grown-up. Right. And the feelings that she has are driven by the same hormones and the same way of viewing the world that drive any other teenager. And that's why we don't hold teenagers to as much responsibility as we do adults, because they're not ready for those responsibilities yet. And so you have to be the bigger person, the grown up, and make the tough choices. And I wish it's such a perfect metaphor for how I feel about like most relationships where people come out of high school and they get married. Yeah. Like, but it's don't do it. If you were meant to be together, you'll come back together or whatever. But like, I wish more people realized you need to go off. The college years are so important to go out there and explore the world.
Kirsten?
I got married 2 weeks after I turned 19. Okay. 22nd anniversary next month.
Wow. Congratulations. Ignore what I said.
No. But now that I have kids, like my oldest just turned 20, which is how old I was when I had her. And I'm so glad that my kids have the freedom to really explore and to like expand into their lives and to grow and make decisions for themselves, basically. Like I have no regrets. I definitely made the choices that I did because I was in a religious cult.
Kirsten, casual mention.
The nice thing is that my spouse and I were able to grow together, right? And that's because we were both young, and one of us was not a centuries old vampire.
Yeah.
So we were starting on an equal footing and able to grow in the same direction, which doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a teenage bride, I can say it's probably not right for basically anyone.
No, Allison, that's why I was laughing. So I was like, I know Kirsten's going to say, well, I did that, but also I don't want other people to do that because
exactly.
Yeah, no, I just love that. And that's why her mom going to visit him isn't really like, he's not the first time he's thought about that, right? Like he has been thinking of it. And it just, Joyce going there kind of was like almost like the last nail in the coffin for him for a bed on the nose metaphor.
Forcing him to actively engage with it because I'm sure before now he was just like, well, I don't have to think about that yet. Well, I don't have to think about that yet. But he does.
Yeah, it was giving voice to his reality. And like you said, he couldn't escape it at that point.
Yeah.
And I think also we were talking about how Joyce handled it so beautifully and Buffy never found out about it because they'd already been down that road.
Yeah.
They'd gone through that whole Buffy, I forbid you to see him or, you're grounded and all that stuff. And those things went down. So it showed the evolution in their relationship as well as mother and daughter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it was just really, really well handled.
Yeah. We cut to them patrolling. And I
just love the Sunnydale sewers.
I know. So big. We get a breakup scene in the sewer because it's Buffy. And I mean, not that there's ever a scene where I'm like, oh, she's not good in the scene, but Sam Michelle Gellar plays this so well.
So well.
Like, my heart really does break for her because when she says something like he doesn't have a tux and he's like, I didn't know patrolling is a black tie affair. And she's like, the prom, silly. She is, I feel like a part of her knows what's coming, right? Like,
yeah. But also, like when I was a senior in high school, it's a complicated story. My boyfriend, who was not Ian, by the way, finally lived in the same city as me, but he was in college. And I really thought like, this is our year. He's going to take me to prom, all of those things. And because it was still important to me, but he was in college and it was not important to him anymore. And it hurt seeing her just be like, yeah, when we go to prom together and having him be like, I'm not interested in that. And just, this slow dawning realization. He doesn't want to have the talk yet. My guess is that Angel understands timing and was going to wait until after the ascension, but she kind of forces his hand by saying, you have something, face. And then they have this very, very sad, very quiet ending.
Yeah.
I have a less positive Angel view on this one. I think that he's a wuss and he was never actually going to have the balls to bring it up himself.
You think he was just
because he doesn't know how to bring up a situation like that. He's like, right. And I think he would have waited until the ascension only because no one else would have brought it up. But it's the moment that Buffy brings it up. He's like, yeah, well, actually, yes. Right. Because now that we're there.
That's
so
true.
yeah. I don't give him credit at all.
Also fair.
Absolutely not. We then get a very good best friend moment between Buffy and Willow, which they always nail their best friend moments. And I love Willow being like, oh, well, why did you do this? Blah, blah, blah. And Buffy's like, you don't have to make him the bad guy. And she's like, that's the job of the best friend, vilifying and grousing. Because I mean, Kirsten, that's how you and I are with each other.
Yes. Yeah, well, and it's because Willow's 100% on her side, but Willow also acknowledges that this is the correct choice. This is the right choice. And that's when Buffy really breaks because she knows everyone else knows this is the right choice, which closes the door, right? Because maybe before she could think, maybe he'll change his mind, maybe we can make it work. But seeing the people who love her best and know her best, like when Willow says, yeah, this is the right choice, that's when she really breaks. And that I can't breathe while Willow holds her and they both cry together. It's just, I love how much the show values their feelings, and I love these moments of like just female friendship and support, and they're just it puts so much weight on their friendship, which was really, really beautiful to see then and now.
Yeah.
The acknowledgement of heartache. The acknowledgement that you are going to go through heartache and there is nothing you can do. And sometimes there isn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Allison, it's really funny. I was just talking about this. I was on a different podcast to talk X-Men because that's all I talked lately. And I was saying how X-Men and Buffy do the thing that I really like well, where there isn't always a flat line of like this. There's like a moral gray area, or there can be like an emotional gray area where like not one person is 100% wrong.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, a lot of other things, you know, it's easy to be like, oh, the person's 100, look how mean they're being, and then just fully vilify the character in the writing. And I appreciate it more when that's not done. Like, I appreciate this.
Live in the gray. Yeah. Live in the gray for sure.
Anyway, so the demon jumps in, attacks the guy in the tux, and then gets called away. And so I love that when we cut to the next scene, Cordy is the one who figures out an important clue, and no one listens to her. When she was like, yeah, he went for the person in the tux, and everybody's just like, oh, Cordy's just being shallow, right?
But that was the thing throughout the series. Like, she was always smarter than she portrayed herself to be.
Right. Yeah. I talked about that with Jane Espenson once, who wrote for the show, one of my favorite writers for the show. And I was like, y'all always love to have a character like Anya or Cordelia point out what was going on and have no one listen, and then that be the thing. She was like, oh, we loved doing that. Yes, we always wanted to try to do that to show that they were being underestimated. And I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Made me happy that she like validated my, the thing I noticed. But yeah, and I do love that later on when they mentioned that, she's like, oh, are you all catching up?
Yes. She's never gracious about it, and she shouldn't be. So they identify the hellhounds and call them especially vicious, which I have a question after. Is it though?
I know,
Is it especially vicious? I mean, I get that they're the monster of the week and they're really a throwaway monster, but they're a pretty bad monster of the week. Yeah. But I also think it's interesting because if you'll recall, this was the season where Danny Strong's episode, Jonathan's episode with the gun, was pulled. They didn't air it live. They didn't air it when it was supposed to air because Columbine had recently happened, and they were really concerned about the image of someone with a gun at a school. Whereas you have the Prom one, where a kid who feels jilted is planning a mass casualty event at his school, but because it's monsters, it's okay, which I think is fascinating. And I think that's also part of why horror can do things that other things can't.
Yeah.
Is because the image of a kid with a rifle at a school is so viscerally horrifying that we don't want to see it, right? But the image of a kid with a bunch of guys in suits running around on all fours, not as viscerally horrifying. So you can tell what's actually a more upsetting story. But because it's cloaked in monsters and the supernatural, it's not going to get pulled by censors.
But look at the juxtaposition in terms of the characters. Like Jonathan and Tucker, they are so different.
Yeah.
This episode, the Prom episode, is the best example of an incel.
Yes.
It's like, oh, boom, he captured it. He's like, oh, I have my reasons. Cut to one girl saying no.
I love
and now he wants to murder everybody. Like, there it is.
Oh, that was the best. That was the best. It's this flashback, and all it is you want to go
one chick saying no. Right? Meanwhile, with Jonathan, like, he was bullied. He was, like, there's a lot more depth, and there's a lot, it goes so much deeper with his character when he ends up with the rifle. And so I love that they kind of did a similar thing, but like you said, but this one is like, oh no, you're just a loser asshole that now wants to take it out on everybody because you got rejected by a pretty girl once.
Yeah. They do incel really well on this show.
Yeah, they sure do.
I do like, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say this. Then we have the best quote where Buffy says, because, Buffy is in so much pain.
You're going to say the exact same quote I was about to say, Kirsten. I know you are. Go ahead.
I'm giving you all a nice, fun, formal evening if I have to kill every person on the face of the earth to do it.
That, I want you both to know, that was my aim away message for a very long time. Like, I thought that quote was so good.
Yeah.
And it is very Buffy because she's like projecting, but in like a good way, where she's like, no, I'm not having a good time, but I want all of my best friends to have the best fucking time.
Yes.
And like, I love her. There's so many beats in this episode, even just this episode out of context, where like we're leading up to she deserves this award, like even just in this episode. And I love that. God, where do we go after that, Kirsten?
So next, the Scoobies divide and conquer, right? They all get their assignments, but the only one we follow is Buffy doing her detective work because it leads to a scene with Angel. And that's one thing. The other thing this episode does really, really well is you have the important plot point scenes like the attack in the formal wear that give us great character moments, like between Xander and Cordy. And then you have the like throwaway plot scenes, like stopping by the butcher shop that lead to a great emotional scene, which in this case is between Buffy and Angel. And I just appreciate that. Like, I think it's very tidy writing.
Yeah.
Very, very. Because she still gets the address for the guy. So it's all
she's still doing what she's supposed to. Yeah. And so then they have this conversation, and it's so sad because she's trying so hard to be mature about it. And like, it just, again, throws into relief how young she is, how hard she's working to be mature and to accept this. And it's another sad one where you're like, oh, Buffy.
Yeah, because he even asked, I think it's when he asked her, like, how are you doing? And she's like, let's not do this right now.
Yeah.
Because I go catatonic.
Yeah. Buffy comes in to tell the Scoobies that they're all going to prom.
Yeah, but I love that initially they're like, no, you're not doing this alone. And she's like, yes, I am. Get out of here.
They love her. They do support her and they do mean it. Even though they want to go to prom, they do are like, well, if you need us, we'll be here.
And then this is the other great adult being an adult in an appropriate way is when Giles finally clues in that Buffy and Angel have broken up. He doesn't say it's for the best. He doesn't say you made the right choice. All he says is, I'm sorry, and offers ice cream. Like, all he's doing is acknowledging that she's hurting. He's not lecturing. He's not, he's the best surrogate dad. And I love, I think that's another really cool thing that this series pulled off is there was never, ever any creepiness in their dynamic, ever. It was always, wasn't always he wasn't always the best surrogate dad, but it was always a surrogate father figure. And they never crossed a line into anything that made you feel
he does that so well. He does that so well. Like when she walks in and she's all gussied up for the prom and everybody's looking and they're all like, ooh, and then Giles looks and he's like, oh, sweetie, you made it. And, I'm glad you're okay. Yes. Like his body language, his facial expressions, so bang on as strictly dad and not like, oh, you look hot.
Yeah.
As opposed to when Wesley Price sees Cordelia. And Giles is just so disgusted with him. It's great.
So we cut to Buffy in Tucker's basement. She, beats him up. We get the funny flashback we all talked about where he's like, I have my reasons. It's just a girl saying no. And Buffy opens the door and we see that all the hellhounds are gone. And we get, because we need one in every Buffy episode, we need our action scene. We get our action scene, which is pretty quick. I kind of love that we're
these are down easy.
Like you said, Kirsten, earlier, they're like, oh, these are so dangerous. And it's like, not for Buffy. She's good.
Yeah.
And I even like the beat of the last one being right at front of the doors and that guy comes out to find the bathroom and just watches her kill it.
And then he still asks where the bathroom is.
Yeah. I love that.
But it's such a cute example too, because she literally saved his prom, and then she even clears out the bodies. You don't see a lot of body disposal in Buffy, but she drags the bodies into the bushes so that her classmates won't come out and be horrified. That they all just get the prom they deserve.
Yeah. But I also like that moment when the guy comes out. there's this moment in Buffy where she's like, ooh, cute boy. Like she changes her demeanor, right? She's like choke holding the creature, breaks his neck, and then clearly there's this cute boy who is not from the school and he needs to know where the washroom is. And that kind of gives a glimpse where it's like, okay,
she's gonna be okay.
She's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when we can get back to Buffy kind of like being a little like silly, it's like, okay, she's like, she's evening out. She's going to be okay. And then we see her enter prom in her dress. I am curious, what do you both think of? Because updos and Cordelia's dress aside, what do we think of Buffy's look? I don't like the dress. Full disclosure, I don't like it. I think it looks good on her, though.
She looks good. She looks good in everything.
Yeah.
But I think it was a smart choice because it's not overly hot. Yeah. Per se. It's not overly sexual. It's like a classic, satin taffeta, whatever, prom dress, right? And it's in this very unassuming color.
Yeah.
Which is also really important for the narrative that it's leading up to. And it goes really well with like the little parasol that they give her.
Yeah, it does.
That's true. And you're right. That is a really good contrast to her homecoming dress.
Yeah.
Which was very much a I'm hot, look at me dress.
Yeah.
So it does definitely like distinguish where she is with this dance versus where she was with that one.
That's true. That is true. Allison, that's a really smart thing. I hadn't thought about that, but now I'm like, that dress is perfect for this.
Yep.
Because I mean, she does look good in everything. Both costume designers that I've had on the podcast said that they loved dressing her, Charisma Carpenter, and Emma Caulfield because they look good in everything.
Yeah.
And like Allison Hannigan had to have a specific look, right? Like she had to have her specific, like nerdy but cute, and then development. But the other three, they're always talking about how like they would look good in anything. Like the season 7 costume designer, like made a lot of just sewed a lot of the dresses that Emma Caulfield and Simon Gellar wore, and he like loved doing it. Which I guess makes sense as a costume designer. If you're like, wow, this person looks good in everything, I can do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So Xander loses class clown. Willow and Oz are happy to see Buffy. Jonathan comes up to the stage and says, we have one more award to give out. Is Buffy Summers here? And I cry for like the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
And just everything about this is perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect that it's him. Yeah. It's perfect that it is a big dramatic speech, but it's not that dramatic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they're just kind of like, some weird shit happens here and we know that you helped. So here, thank you.
I do like that he mentions this is the lowest mortality rate.
And I wrote, not for long. But
just
then, yes.
Give it a week. I love it. I love the kid. Like this feels like community to me. This is like, they are a community that have survived mostly. This like town that's on a hellmouth where demons are ripping apart these kids all the time.
And I do like when occasionally they acknowledge like,
because she does a lot.
This is a weird place.
Yeah. And like I said, even just by this episode standards, I'm like, she fucking deserves this. But like by the show standards, like there's not a world in which she doesn't deserve this.
Yeah. And it's such a nice, like, because, you do have the, like, everybody banding together at graduation. And this is another good precursor to that, because this is the team, because earlier they said, like, they just pretend like nothing happened, but this is acknowledging, no, they know stuff is happening. They are aware. And that is a great build up to looping everyone in on the plan for graduation day.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that, but like that does show you like, well, they do kind of know what's going on.
Yeah. And they know that Buffy is the person to listen to finally, rather than just like, you're crazy, I'm running away.
Right. And Sarah Michelle Gellar plays it so well of like, Buffy's so confident, but she's not confident here because she's so caught off guard.
Yeah.
And I love that she's like awkward smiling and kind of looking around and is almost way more like, I don't know, way less like Buffy than she normally would be, but it makes sense for this scene, right?
Yeah. And she's by herself. She's not standing by her friends. It's just her. Yeah.
Also, I'm curious what you all thought, because my God, the tension when her and Angel see each other. I'm not always 100% with any of the boyfriends. I'm not on board with kind of really any of them 100%.
Yeah.
But the tension for me was there. It was like, oh God, just dance. Like, oh, please kiss. Like, I felt it when Wild Horses was playing and they're slowly approaching each other.
Yeah.
I love that neither of them said anything until it's just like really quiet when she says, I never thought you'd come. He says, it's a big night. I don't want to miss it. It's just tonight. And she says, I know. I mean, I understand.
Yeah.
And they just dance.
And I'm glad that he acknowledges that she deserves this night. Right? Like, that I think is he has finally accepted that she is a teenager. Mm-hmm. And so part of that is embracing the fact that she needs these moments. She deserves these moments. So yeah, it's beautiful and sad. It's the best.
It's so Buffy. And the look on her face, like we see that she's ready to cry.
Yeah.
And then she kind of like quells everything and then just closes her eyes and leans on his chest. And it's like, man, she really fucking deserves this. Like, God. I just love her. I get like so emotional with this shit. Like, Kirsten, I was thinking of us talking about Chosen when we got there on the main podcast feed, and how like that scene of her jumping off the bus where she takes a breath and looks at the road ahead is like, oh, she deserves this. And it's like so small. And like, I was thinking of like, they do the small moments really well too. I mean, they do the big moments well, but right? Like little shit like that. And I'm glad Buffy was able to just like close her eyes and not be upset about knowing this is the last dance. They're breaking up. She's just like, let me have this moment. And she just leans her head down and it's nice.
Yeah.
My girl. Ugh. All right. Well, now we are at the end. Allison, what was your favorite outfit?
I love her leather coat that she wears out when she goes out to kick ass. So whenever she's wearing that, I'm kind of happy with anything. But again, like I said, with the, so when she's in the sewer, when he breaks up with her and she's in that really cute mauve sweater.
I love the sewer breakup outfit being your favorite in an episode where they go to prom.
I wasn't big on any of the prom outfits. I think I will shout out to whoever Jonathan's date is in that. Like at the end when they're doing the pan across, I'm like, oh, he's with a really cute girl in like this red outfit or something. She's pretty hot. Right on, Jonathan.
Good for you,
but
Jonathan.
For the most part, no, it's the everyday casual wear that I'm more on board with.
That's fair. Kirsten?
I love the wedding dress. I think she looks so beautiful in it.
All right.
And it was so striking and such an over-the-top wedding dress with that huge voluminous skirt and the veils that then when it catches on fire, it's such a cool visual. So yeah, it's the wedding dress for me.
All right. I actually did really like that wedding dress. I meant to ask if either of you liked it. I know I do agree with both of you about the hair, but I love Cordelia's prom dress so much. It's my favorite dress. Favorite scene? We're probably all going to have the same one. Class protector?
Yeah. Class protector.
Yeah.
And what do we think Dawn would have been doing in this episode? I know there's not a lot of room for her, really.
I know exactly what she was doing.
Kirsten?
She was pouting in her bedroom because she was trying on Buffy's prom dress and Buffy caught her and yelled at her. And for once, their mom didn't defend Dawn. She got mad at Dawn too and made Dawn go to her room because Joyce knows that Buffy and Angel have broken up. Even though Buffy hasn't told her, she knows. And so for once, she was like, absolutely not, Dawn. Go to your room. So Dawn is grounded and she's super pissed and she does not understand why this one time her mom was 100% on Buffy's side.
I love that.
Yeah.
I am going with that.
Kirsten, you just used your mom voice when you did that. I was about to go to my room. I was like, oh God, I'm in trouble. Allison?
No, I'm going with that because I can't think of anything positive for Dawn. I'm so sorry. I'm just like playing in a room with dolls. I
mean, I like your answer better, Kirsten, but I put she would have been bothering Buffy about her prom dress when Buffy's trying to talk to Willow. And it would have been like annoying. What grade do we give this episode, Allison?
Oh, I give it an A.
Kirsten?
Yeah, I give it an A.
100% A.
Yeah. I put A++ just because I just love it. I think this is I think Sarah Michelle Gellar said this is her favorite episode of the series.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I understand why. It's not a bad pick, right? I love it. Thank you both for joining me. Thank you all for listening. If you're listening to this on the Patreon, thank you for being part of it. Allison, where can everyone find you?
I really just do Twitter, or I guess it's called X. now.
We call it Twitter.
So I'm Allison the Other on X Twitter. And that's about it. Not doing the TikTok, not doing the Insta, just life's too short.
I did forget today when I was like putting on Insta, I was like, wait, I can't find Allison. Oh, right, she told me she's not on Instagram.
But I did retweet on Twitter, so
I appreciate it.
I will make all the noise over there.
Kirsten, where can everyone find you, and tell everyone about your upcoming book, which has a character named after my mother?
Oh, yes. Aww. Okay. So you can find me on Instagram and Threads at author Kirsten White. My next book is called Lucy Undying. It is a sort of spin-off of the novel Dracula, following the life of the undead life of Lucy Westenra, because she deserved a better story. And yes, there is the best chapter in the book, which I've heard from several people, is called The Story of Alicia Del Toro. Ian's mom was just the most incredible woman, and I asked if I could turn her into a vampire in my book, and she was very happy with the idea. So she has just this beautiful, very pivotal kind of turning point chapter in the book. I'm super excited about it. It comes out September 10th. It's a dark, romantic, sapphic horror love story, all the things. But yeah, you can pre-order it now, or just head to your local bookstore in September.
And I think I told you this, Kirsten, because you sent when she was in the hospital, you like emailed them to me. I didn't read them, so I didn't want to be spoiled, but she read them because Kirsten had this before my mom passed. It wasn't like after she passed. And so Kirsten emailed me the pages so my mom could read them. And my mom was like so excited to read them in the hospital. She had like the weirdest taste because she like was telling the nurses, oh, I'm going to be a vampire in one of my son's best friend's new books. And she was like so excited. It's like this 76-year-old woman on life support, and they're like, oh, okay. But she was ecstatic.
Oh, it's the sweetest.
Which is the same thing of like, she asked one of them, have you seen Cocaine Bear? My son made me watch it before I came here, and it made me laugh so much. And they were like, what?
Yeah, I genuinely could never create a character better than your mom, but I feel very honored to have been able to use her name.
Because also, Allison, my mom adored Kirsten and her books. Like my mom, she would go to the salon and tell all the girls about Kirsten's books and try to get them to read them. Like that was like, I would hear her talking on the phone. She'd be like, well, Kirsten White said, like she was so thrilled. I was friends with an author she loved. But yes, I cannot wait to read that and cry, Kirsten. And we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.